everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well today, and I'll just give you a heads up if my voice does sound a little bit off. I do have COVID currently, so if my voice sounds a little bit scratchy or a little bit like squeaky, I apologise. But today I've got a video for you about local BBC proposing cuts to local BBC radio stations, including my one, which is BBC Radio Suffolk. As an autistic woman who has had experiences dealing with local BBC radio and working alongside BBC Radio, I thought it was important to bring you this news as soon as I found out about it yesterday in early hours today. So I thought I'd talk about it from a disability standpoint as well as a neurotypical kind of standpoint, and bring you the article and my autistic thoughts towards the end. So let's get into it. So what are these BBC cuts proposing to do? What are they actually about, and what are they actually saying they're going to benefit? So let's read into it. The idea of these BBC cuts is to reduce local broadcasting to 40 hours a week, including league football matches. BBC bosses have announced a major plan to share programmes and cut jobs on local BBC radio stations throughout England. In a all-staff meeting on Monday, the acting director of the BBC of England, Jason Horton, said he wants to grow our local impact in all parts of the country, and these will be the biggest proposed changes for local services for a generation. Rhodri Davis, the Director of Nations at the BBC, shared the proposals to drop local shows on weekday afternoons and late-night evenings, and the majority of weekend shows. Local shows will only still survive on weekday mornings and lunchtimes from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m, with further shared regionally or nationally. There will be 6 regions going forward under this new audio sharing news, which will cover the North West, the North East, Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, the Midlands, the London and the East region, the South region and the South West region of England. A possible 139 posts in local radio will be at risk of a job as a result of these changes, and the voluntary redundancy drive is already officially being launched, which is effective immediately. This is from Monday. Here is how the programme sharing supposedly will work. From 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the afternoon, 39 local shows will continue across the 39 local BBC radio stations. From 2 p.m. to 6 p.m, 18 regional shows will be shared across the 39 local radio stations. The 18 stations will air in Guernsey, Somerset, Gloucester, Bristol, Cornwall, Manchester, Merseyside, Lancashire, Cumbria, Newcastle, Kent, Sussex, Devon, Stoke, Derby, Nottingham, Leeds, Sheffield, York, Leicester, Northampton, Humberside, Lincolnshire, Cambridge, Suffolk, Coventry, Warwickshire, Norfolk, London, Oxford, Shropshire, Hereford, Worcestershire and Berkshire. So that is the list of places that are still going to be broadcasting as normal supposedly, but from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on a Saturday and Sunday, 12 shows of these will be shared across the network. These will be Manchester, Merseyside, Cumbria, Newcastle, Leeds, Sheffield, York, Humberside, Shropshire, Stoke, Derby, Nottingham, Leicester, Lincoln, London, Essex, Cambridge, Suffolk, Norfolk, Surrey, Berkshire, Oxford, Devon, Cornwall, Bristol, Gloucester, Wiltshire and Somerset. From 10 p.m. on weekdays and 2 p.m. every Sunday, all 39 local stations will share these nationwide feeds with presenters who are yet to be decided or announced. They include the Make a Difference campaign, highlighting how local radio stations can make a big difference to their local communities or local towns. Chris Burns, who is the head of audio and digital for the BBC of England, said this: "The power of radio is huge when it comes to connecting local communities who are in need. The overall BBC local staffing in England is expected to reduce by around 48 posts. There will be around 131 additional roles across these local news services, with around 139 fewer roles within audio teams, as the programme sharing is going to be introduced and spread out across England." So, what are my thoughts as an autistic woman, as someone who is using her local BBC network to her privilege and has been able to connect to them successfully for the last 5.5 years that I've been working with them, share my autism diagnosis and my poetry. What do I think is going to happen for all disabled people and local people within Suffolk and Ipswich, my hometown? My thoughts as a local autistic woman is that I am very concerned, as I've had the privilege and opportunity to have my local BBC radio station supporting me now for 5.5 to 6 years, supporting my autism diagnosis journey and my poetry over the last 5.5 to 6 years. The friendship of John Wright and Mark Murphy MBE and local radio is essential for me and Ipswich and the surrounding community that I live in. I listen to BBC Radio Suffolk daily. I love the varied topics and episodes that are discussed to keep the community involved and up to date in local news and situations and bring us up to date with the most breaking news at any time, any hour of the day. During the last 5 years, John especially has been there for me when I've had my struggles, my episodes of my autism and my depression, and we've recorded many walking sessions within the local park. This has helped me beneficially to help feel better mentally, physically and emotionally, to make my voice heard and to make me feel supported, respected and with dignity. Without him I would be lost, and the same with Mark Murphy. Mark Murphy has had me on the radio many a times on his show where he's been talking about everything special needs and disability focused. Without Mark's support and John's support, I would not have the privilege and blessing I would have with local media and radio connections, being able to share my voice and my journey throughout my autism diagnosis journey. I've officially been diagnosed 8 years now, and without these two men, I would not be able to have access to my local radio as I do now. If we were to lose the local BBC radio station in Suffolk and Ipswich and surrounding villages and communities, it'd be a huge loss to everybody, not just the disability autism community and to disability advocates and actual disabled people who use their disabilities to have their voices heard in respect. Both John and Mark have done an outstanding and wonderful job by bringing us into the local community, having our voices heard, having our experiences shared, and bringing it to the public attention to make disability less judgmental and less scary to talk about. They've made disability a less stigmatised thing in the media. They've helped to break our voices down and helped to share our experiences to make the world a better place, to make the world more educated. Without these guys, BBC in general, listen, please reconsider what you're urging to do here. Please stop with these proposed cuts. You don't realise how damaging these cuts are that you're planning to do for our local radio station. BBC Suffolk is vital. I can't stress this enough. It is a vital radio station in the heart of my town, the heart of my home, the heart of my family, the heart of me, my disability access, my stories, my poetry. My experiences have been so rooted within the radio community, within the mental health community, the disability community, the poetry community, the writing community. I would be lost without John and Mark. I really would. Their support is vital, essential. Without my voice being on their form of media and their platforms, I wouldn't be able to do what I do right now. Their support to me over the last 6 years has been vital. My voice would not be heard without them. And I really do worry that if we do lose our presenters and we do lose half the shows that are threatening to be removed from the end of this month, it will limit the amount of people who are listening to Radio Suffolk on a massive scale. And I just hope that you don't take away our rights, you don't take away our beloved radio station. Without John, without Mark, without Leslie, without Stephen, without anyone else who's been part of that radio station from the get-go, you are taking away so much enjoyment and local history, local stories, local people, local disabilities, local mental health stories. Please reconsider. Keep Suffolk at the heart where it belongs. Keep it at the community, keep it in the town, keep it local, keep it factual, keep the presenters in their jobs, because right now we're in such a dire community, we're in such a dire recession. The last thing we need is for you to be taking away their jobs, their livelihoods, their families, their wages. Think about how much damage you're doing, BBC. Wake up! Stop these cuts. It's so irresponsible. I can't stress this enough. Without John, without Mark, my voice, my experiences, my stories would not be heard. Please stop these cuts. Please And thank you. Thank you so much for listening to me, guys. Please drop a like on this video. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think, if you agree with me, disagree with me. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.